Hello friends, and welcome to episode 4 of my Friends Pick My Reads. In today's episode, we do have my friend Kirsten, who does have a YouTube channel where she does post book videos, so make sure you go check her on out. But we are going to be reading 3 books that she has selected for me. She didn't give me reasonings as to why she picked these, but I'm pretty sure she rated all of these either 4 or 5 stars, so I am very much so looking forward to seeing what they are all about. One of these is super anticipated for me and I'm very excited to get to it, and then the other 2 I'm actually really excited for all of these. She did give me quite a decent variety. We got 2 like horror books, or maybe a thriller, a horror, and a YA romance. So the first thing she picked was Dead 11, which this book I actually picked up. I saw it at Barnes & Noble and I thought the cover was so cool with like the VHS tape. And I just think it looks super neat, and I saw that she'd given this a really good rating, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick this up. It's mixed media. It looks super duper cool. What is it about? I don't know, but we're gonna find out together. On a creepy island where everyone has a strange obsession with the year 1994, when Willow Stone discovers the words Clifford Island written on the floor of her deceased son's bedroom, she's perplexed. She's never heard of it before, but soon learns it's a tiny island off of Wisconsin's Door County Peninsula, 200 miles away. Why would her son write this? Determined to find the answers, Willow sets out for the island. After a few days on Clifford, Willow realizes this place is not normal. Everyone seems to be stuck in 1994. They wear outdated clothing, avoid modern technology, and perhaps most mystifyingly, watch the O.J. Simpson car chase every evening. When she asks questions, people are evasive, but she learns one thing: close your curtains at night. High schooler Lily Becker has lived on Clifford her entire life, and she is sick of adhering to the island's rules. She's been to the mainland and it's normal there, so why is Clifford so weird? Lily sets out to prove that the islanders' beliefs are a sham. But are they? 5 weeks later, Willow disappears. Her brother, Harper, comes to Clifford to search for her, and when he learns the truth that this island is far more sinister than anyone could have imagined, he is determined to blow the whole thing open, if he can get out alive. That sounds really, really good. Then we have Betting on You by Lynn Painter, and I have this super cute like stenciled edges edition. I've read the Better Than the Movies duology by Lynn Painter, but that's all I've read by her, so I'm excited to try something else. I love her covers. They're so cute. The first time Bailey meets Charlie, he is the worst. While moving to Omaha after her parents set in divorce, Bailey finds herself trapped for 10 hours with a cynical and obnoxiously opinionated stranger, the polar opposite of her careful, well-behaved, cheery temperament. So imagine her surprise when years later, Charlie turns out to be her co-worker at her new job. But this time around, they find themselves talking comfortably and even laughing. Still, they agree they can't stand each other, and they are witnesses, and when they witness 2 of their coworkers flirting, their commentary on the moment spirals into a bet. Charlie insists members of the opposite sex can't be just friends, and Bailey is determined to prove him wrong. Amidst all their bickering and playful banter, Charlie works to deflect the feelings he is developing for Bailey. He is terrified to lose her I thought I could get through my intro without dying, and I could not. And what doesn't help his agenda is Bailey and Charlie's fake dating in order to disrupt the annoying pleasantries between Bailey's mom and her mom's new boyfriend. Soon, what Charlie was hoping to avoid becomes a reality as Bailey starts to see him as not only a friend, but someone who makes her hands shake and heart race. But Charlie has a secret that involves Bailey and another bet Charlie may have made. Can the 2 make a real go of things, or has Charlie secretly doomed them before they can start? Something tells me that they'll be able to make it work because it's a YA romance. And then I'm currently working through Grady Hendrix's backlog, and I was thinking I was never going to read this because it is a vampire book and I actually freaking hate blood. But I'm being really brave, and I actually have the audio for this just came through. So I'm going to be listening to this on audio. I think this is the blurb. It's not on the back. Patricia Campbell's life has never felt smaller. Her husband is a workaholic, her teenage kids have their own lives, her senile mother-in-law needs constant care, and she's always a step behind on her endless to-do list. The only thing keeping her sane is her book club, a close-knit group of Charleston women united by their love of true crime. Then, James Harris walks into their life during the summer of '93. He makes her feel things she hasn't felt in years. But when children on the other side of town go missing, Patricia wonders, is he connected? Is he Brad Pitt, a Bundy, or something much worse? So this is the Southern Book Club's guide to slaying vampires. This is so cool on the inside. I'm so excited for this. So, you know, this talks about the best friend's exorcism. A few years ago, I wrote a book called My Best Friend's Exorcism about two teenage girls in Charleston, South Carolina in '88, the height of the satanic panic. They become convinced that one of them is possessed by Satan, and consequently things go poorly. That novel was written from the teenage point of view, and so the parents seemed awful because that's how parents seem when you're a teenager. But there's another version of that story told from the parents' point of view about how helpless you feel when your kid is in danger. I wanted to write a story about those parents, and so the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires was born. It is not a sequel to My Best Friend's Exorcism, but it takes place in the same neighborhood a few years later where I grew up. When I was a kid, I didn't take my mom seriously. She was a housewife who was in a book club, and she and her friends were always running errands and driving the carpool and blah, blah, blah. Today I realized how many things they were dealing with that I was unaware of. They took the hits so we could skate by obliviously. Because that's the deal. As a parent, you endure the pain so your child doesn't have to. This book is also about vampires. They're not ironic American archetype of the rambling man wearing denim, wandering from town to town with no past and no ties. Think blah, 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 blah. Think Jack something, think Shane, think Woody something, think Ted Bundy. Because vampires are the original serial killers. Stripped of everything that makes us human, they have no friends, no family, no roots, no children. All they have is hunger, and they eat and eat, but are never full. With this book, I wanted to pit a man freed from all responsibilities, but his appetites against women who live. Okay, this sounds very exciting, and I loved My Best Friend's Exorcism is my favorite book by Grady Hendrix, so that this is set in like the same neighborhood is very fun, and I'm very excited. Me and Kirsten like a lot of the same genres. We both really, for example, we both love Riley Sager, but we don't like the same books by him. Like, my favorite book by him is The Only One Left. She did not like that. I think she gave that 2 or 3 stars. One of her favorites, I don't know if it is her favorite, but I know it's up there, is The House Across the Lake, and that's one of my least favorite books by him. So though we like a lot of the same things, we tend to have opposite opinions, so I'm interested to see where we land with these ones. But let's go find out. And I think this is the one we're going to start with because I already have the audio for it, and I'm excited. Friends, we are about 60% of the way through the audio, or no, I lied, 76% of the way through the audio of the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This book is horror slash thriller slash mystery, so I'm not going to say like a whole ton because there's a ton of reveals that happen throughout the book, and I don't want any of that to be spoiled for you. I'm like trying to remember names. So there's this, the book starts, we have our main character, her name is Patricia. She is a mother, she is married, she be living her life in this small town. They kind of have like all the classic like neighbor tropes, like the one who's really annoying and watches everything, so on and so forth. She and a bunch of the moms in the neighborhood decide that they're going to start a book club where they read classics as well as some like thriller horror books, so on and so forth. Then the only thing keeping her sane is her book club, a close-knit group of Charleston women united by their love of true crime. So they're mainly reading true crime stories and talking about, like, there's a lot of talk about Ted Bundy in here. And then basically something happens to Patricia that leads her to be in contact with this new guy in town named James. He is one of the neighbors, I believe, grandson, who's been like staying with her. And at first he seems kind of strange, and then they sort of seems kind of normal, and then she starts suspecting that he is a vampire because some really crazy shit happens. Okay, some really wackadoodle things that like I want you to be able to read them first in the book and be surprised by it. I don't want to tell you, obviously. And then she's trying to like pin other things on James to get him like in prison, and none of it's going well. And so basically everything kind of comes to a head, and everybody thinks she's crazy, and like her family's falling apart because of this. So then we flash forward to like a year or so later. Might be more than a year later, actually. We then fast forward to some time later, and she's just kind of like, okay, like, well, there's a time jump is basically what I'm getting at. And like she's trying to just kind of like act like everything's normal, but then things 3 years later. But then things start getting really weird again, and she's more and more convinced that this guy James is a vampire. But how does she tell that to people without sounding like a lunatic is basically where she's at. I'm liking it so far. It's feeling like a 4. I don't really have anything more to say because it is a thriller. I feel like there's a lot more to spoil than if it was just like a rom-com. So that's my 2 cents on this. I'm gonna finish this and then we'll talk about it. And then I do plan on next listening to Betting on You. I'll probably get through that as well today because it's what I refer to as a big fat work day. So I'm excited to see where this takes us. Okay guys, I did just finish the audio for this, and I really liked how this book ended. Obviously I'm not gonna say much about that because that's spoilers, but I am gonna give it 4 stars, which is actually better than Kirsten rated this. I was looking to see what she rated it, and I'm actually kind of surprised she picked this because she only gave this book 3 stars, which I think a 3-star rating is good, but I was a little bit surprised that she would pick something that she didn't super love. But maybe she just knows that I love Grady Hendrix and was like, I'm gonna give Hannah what she wants. And it was good. I gave it, again, I'm gonna be giving it 4 stars. I did quite enjoy it. Next up, we are gonna move into completely opposite vibes. I am obsessed with how cute this is, but this is Betting on You by Lynn Painter, which is just like a cutie little silly, oh my god, there's footnotes. I hate a footnote. Or is it just that last chapter that has footnotes? I think it's just the last chapter. Okay, but we are going to be jumping into Betting on You. I have no idea what this is about. But I'm going to listen to probably like half of it, and then I will check in with you guys. I'm so excited to read something else by Miss Lynn because I have only ever read the Better Than the Movies duology, and I loved Better Than the Movies, and I thought Nothing Like the Movies was a cash grab. So we'll see how I feel about this. I think this is the only other thing I currently own by her, but I'm hoping that I really like it because come on, like the hot pink and the teal, so good. So good. Okay guys, I look horrid, but I am about halfway through Betting on You by Lynn Painter. So far, this is pretty good. It's very cringy. It's, I think, maximum gonna be a 4. Like, this is definitely not a 5-star read. I like Taylor Swift, okay? Like, literally I have a bookmark right here that says it's a love story. Like, live, laugh, love. Listen to her pretty much every time I'm in the car. But the amount of Taylor Swift references in this is kind of crazy. Like, within the first chapter, it was like, Karma is a cat. They're like having to sing, they're like, oh, make her sing All Too Well, 10-minute version, Taylor's version. Like, da-da-da-da, are you ready for it? Like, the amount of Taylor Swift references is actually kind of wild. But anywho, this is dual point of view. We've got Bailey and we have got Charlie. In the beginning, we see Bailey flying home by herself from Alaska to Omaha. She had just finished visiting her dad. Her parents are recently divorced, and on the plane, she's sat next to this guy, Charlie, who's also from divorced parents, and they kind of don't like each other off the jump. Then, fast forward like a year or so later, she's working at a movie theater, and he's there, and they like see each other. He ends up working there. So now they're like kind of a friend group. Her best friend, Nessa, I think is her name. Could be wrong. And Theo, I think, is the guy who works at the other guy that works at the movie theater. They're all kind of like this group of friends. Charlie and Bailey essentially make this bet that the other two people at work, which is, I think, Nessa and Theo. I'm so bad at remembering names. Or Cleo. Anywho, that she basically makes a bet that boys and girls cannot be friends, and that they are gonna like, that they have a thing for each other. And Bailey is like, no, she has a boyfriend, like she wouldn't do that. And he's like, yeah, okay. So now basically Bailey's mom starts dating this guy, and Bailey hates it because it's changing everything, and she doesn't want things to change, and he's really like inserting himself into their lives, and she hates that. So she's kind of being like honestly a bitch to him. He hasn't really done anything super horrible. He's trying to like parent her, which I do think is quite cringe, but basically she's over his bullshit. So now we're like halfway through, and he surprised her and her mom with a trip to Colorado to the mountains, and she doesn't want to go. She kind of like is like, I'm not going, like I have to work, I can't go. And her mom's like, well, you can bring your friend, like the girlfriend. Oh my god, I wish I like would just open a page and see her name. Her friend ends up getting grounded, and she can't come. So Bailey and her friends kind of devise a plan that Charlie's gonna go, and they're gonna fake date to really piss off her mom's boyfriend, because her mom's boyfriend does not like Charlie. So that's kind of where they're at. They kind of ambushed the family and just showed up. She was supposed to show up with her other friend, and when she shows up, she's with Charlie. She goes in to tell her mom. Her mom flips out, and she's like, well, he's already here, so this is what we're doing. So there's that. But Charlie also has a secondary bet with the other guy that they work with, that Bailey's too uptight to ever like date anybody, and Charlie jokingly, to kind of shut him up, made a bet that he could get her. So I'm sure that the third act conflict is going to be that Bailey finds out about the bet and is going to think he doesn't really like her. Like I can already, like, we see it coming from a mile away. But it's really cute. It's really quick to listen to, very engaging, and I am so far enjoying it. Right now it's sitting at like a 4-star. So we live, laugh, love that. Okay, you guys, it has been weeks, honestly, and life has been lifing, but we're finally going to be finishing this video. I have been waiting for the audio for this book for forever. Like, when I put in the request, it said that it was like a 2-week wait, and typically, like, I get my things within, like, when it says 2 weeks, usually in like 5 days. Oh no. Whoever was borrowing this book from Libby, they waited till they did not return early. That's all I gotta say about that. But we are gonna jump into the audio for this, and I will let you know more about it once I have that info, because right now I know nothing other than this cover is amazing and it's thundering out. So back to work, and we're gonna listen to this while we are working. Halfway through Dead 11, and it's giving 3-star energy as of right now, if I'm being so for real with you. Basically, in this book, there's this woman named Willow, and her son dies, and he gets hit by a car, and her husband like kind of witness this happening, and her son dies. Then, I don't know, it doesn't say when, but she eventually goes into her son's room, and she sees written on like the floor, Clifford Island, and she's like, what does this mean? Like, why would he write that? I need to go there. So she goes to Clifford Island, which is like 200 miles away, trying to figure out why like her son would write that on the floor, like determined to find the answers. And then after she goes there, she realizes that this place is literally super weird. Like, everybody sucked in 1994, and it's like they're repeating the same thing every day. Like, people will go home and watch the OJ trial every night. They will rewatch the same, like, basketball game every night. And there's this thing that everybody says is to close your curtains at night, and she's kind of like, what's going on? And then there's this girl, Lily, who's lived there her entire life, but she thinks that the place is, like, really weird, and she wants to get out. But people don't just leave Clifford Island. Like, that's super not the vibes. Weeks and weeks pass, and Willow's brother, his name is Harper, which is throwing me off because I associate the name Harper with a girl, and it keeps, like, I'm like, oh wait, no, that's a dude. But anyhow, so her brother is like, where's my sister? Nobody has heard from her. Like, she's missing. WTF. She went to this place. I can't get a hold of her. There's no cell phones there. There's no cell phone service. There's no internet, nothing. It's literally like we're back in time. So he goes to Clifford Island and is kind of like on this search to find his sister and see if something more sinister happened. And it says he's determined to blow the whole thing open if he can get out alive. So basically, that's kind of where we're at in this book. And it's just giving fine. It's giving forgettable. Again, the ending could be something like super mind-blowing and change my mind and make me feel like, oh my god, amazing book. But as of right now, it's like a 3. I'm not mad that I'm reading it, but I can just tell that it's not going to stick with me, if that makes sense. So, again, we're halfway through, so it's 9 in the morning, and I'm going to be working for probably the next 13 hours. So we will for sure be finishing Den 11 today. Let's get to it. We are done with Den 11 and a bazillion weeks in the making. We're done with this video. What did I think? My thoughts kind of remained the same with this book, and I ended up settling on a 3-star. I think it could have been a 4-star if it wasn't like 450 pages. Like, it just didn't need to be that long, and it felt very repetitive of like people are seeing these like ghosts basically, and what's gonna happen. Like, it just felt very much like a back and forth that went on like 100 pages too long. I think if this was 350 pages, it would have been like a 4-star. But like, there was just some parts where I was like, I have to be close to the end. Like, the same shit just keeps happening over and over and over and over and over again. I don't want to like really get too deep into it because there are a lot of reveals in the second half that were pretty like jaw-dropping. Again, reason why I think that it would be a 4-star if it was a bit shorter. But that is the conclusion of this video. What did we read? We read The Southern Book Club's Guide for Slaying Vampires, which my friend Andrea, who I did episode 1 of the series, was with her, and she's gonna have a second episode coming out eventually. But she just told me that, she asked me if I've read The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I was like, first off, that title is way too long. I told her, yeah, I have, and she informed me that a graphic audio for that is coming out in August. So if that's something that interests you, I would definitely recommend. I gave that book 4 stars. It's not my favorite Grady Hendrix, but I really liked it. And for me, rating a vampire story 4 stars is like kind of astronomical because I hate vampires. I think they're stupid and corny, and I am not a fan of vampire stories. So for me to be like, yeah, I loved it, even though, like, didn't love it, but even though I really liked it, thought it was pretty fun, gave it 4 stars, that's like pretty good. Then we read Betting on You by Lynn Painter, which I also gave 4 stars. That was a super cute YA romance. Had a ton of pop culture references. Like, I think Taylor Swift was mentioned about 1.5 million times. So if that's something that does bother you, which for me, it like super does not bother me, I don't care, I think it's fun, then, so it was like fine for me. But I just want you to know, because I know some people think it's really corny and really cringy and hate that. So if that's something you hate, then I don't recommend. But I thought it was super fun. And now we have this one, which was my least favorite, but for me, 3 stars is still good. It's literally good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not great, It's not amazing. It's just good. It was a good book that I read. Happy I read it, but I'm not going to remember it. So that is everything for this video. Thank you to my friend Kirsten for giving me these suggestions, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.